Chapter 10. Rehoboam went to Shechem, where all the people of Israel had gathered to make him king. When Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had fled from King Solomon to Egypt, heard about this, he returned from Egypt. The people of the northern tribes sent for him, and together they went to speak with Rehoboam. They said, "Your father Solomon treated us harshly and put heavy burdens on us. If you make these burdens lighter and make our lives easier, we will serve you." Rehoboam replied, "Come back to me in 3 days. I will give you my answer." So the people went away, and King Rehoboam consulted the elders who had served his father Solomon during his lifetime. He asked, "What advice would you give me to answer these people?" They replied, "If you are kind to these people and please them and give them a favorable answer, they will always be your servants." But Rehoboam rejected the advice the elders gave him and consulted the young men who had grown up with him and were now his advisors. He asked them, "What is your advice? What should I say to these people who tell me to make the burden my father put on them lighter?" The young men who had grown up with him replied, "Tell the people who said to you, 'Your father put a heavy yoke on us, but make our yoke lighter.' Tell them, 'My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. My father laid on you a heavy yoke. I will make it even heavier. My father punished you with whips. I will punish you with scourges." 3 days later, Jeroboam and all the people returned to Rehoboam. As the king had said, "Come back to me in 3 days." The king ignored the advice of the elders and answered the people harshly, following the counsel of the young men. He said, "My father made your yoke heavy. I will make it even heavier. My father punished you with whips. I will punish you with scourges." So the king did not listen to the people, for this turn of events was from the Lord, to fulfill the word the Lord had spoken to Jeroboam, son of Nebat, through Ahijah the prophet from Shiloh. When all Israel saw that the king refused to listen to them, they shouted, "Down with the dynasty of David! What share do we have in the son of Jesse? People of Israel, let's go home. Look after your own house, O David." So the Israelites went home, leaving Rehoboam to rule only over those who lived in the territory of Judah. King Rehoboam sent out Adoniram, who was in charge of forced labor, but the Israelites stoned him to death. King Rehoboam, however, managed to get into his chariot and flee to Jerusalem. And to this day, the people of Israel, the northern kingdom, have been in rebellion against the house of David. Chapter 11. When Rehoboam arrived in Jerusalem, he assembled 180,000 of the best soldiers from the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, intending to go to war against the tribes of the northern kingdom and regain his rule over them. But the Lord spoke to the prophet Shemaiah and sent him to deliver this message to King Rehoboam and to all the people of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. "This is what the Lord says: Do not go up to fight against your fellow Israelites. Go home, every one of you, for this is my doing." So they obeyed the Lord's command and did not march against Jeroboam. Rehoboam stayed in Jerusalem, and to defend his kingdom, he rebuilt and fortified the following cities in Judah and Benjamin. He appointed commanders over these fortified cities and stored supplies of grain, olive oil, and wine in them. He also placed shields and spears in every city, making them very strong. In this way, Rehoboam was able to maintain control over the territories of Judah and Benjamin. From all parts of Israel in the north, priests and Levites came to Jerusalem. The Levites abandoned their pastures and property and moved to Judah and Jerusalem because Jeroboam, king of Israel, and his successors would not allow them to serve the Lord as priests. Jeroboam had appointed his own priests to offer sacrifices at pagan shrines and to worship idols and the golden calves he had made. People from all the tribes of Israel who sincerely desired to worship the Lord, the God of Israel, followed the Levites to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices to the Lord, the God of their ancestors. This strengthened the kingdom of Judah and made Rehoboam, son of Solomon, a firmly established ruler for 3 years, during which he followed the example of David and Solomon. Rehoboam married Mahalath, daughter of Jeremoth, who was a son of David, and Obahail, daughter of Eliab, son of Jesse. She bore him 3 sons, Jush, Shemariah, and Zahom. Later, Rehoboam married Masash, daughter of Absalom, who bore him 4 sons, Obiah, Atai, Ziza, and Shelemith. In all, Rehoboam had 18 wives and 60 concubines. They bore him 28 sons and 60 daughters. Rehoboam loved Masash, the daughter of Absalom, more than any of his other wives and concubines, and he appointed her son Abijah as chief prince. making him the heir to the throne of Judah. Rehoboam wisely distributed his other sons throughout the fortified cities of Judah and Benjamin, giving them abundant provisions and arranging wives for them. Chapter 12. As soon as Rehoboam had established his royal power, he and all the people of Judah abandoned the law of the Lord. They were unfaithful to God. And so, in the 5th year of Rehoboam's reign, Shishak, king of Egypt, attacked Jerusalem. He came with 1,200 chariots, 60,000 horsemen, and an uncountable army of Libyans, Sukkites, and Ethiopians. Shishak conquered the fortified cities of Judah and advanced toward Jerusalem. Then the prophet Shemaiah came to Rehoboam and to the leaders of Judah who had gathered in Jerusalem to escape Shishak. And he said, "This is what the Lord says, you have abandoned me. Therefore, I now hand you over to Shishak." Then the king and the leaders of Israel humbled themselves and said, "The Lord is righteous." When the Lord saw that they had humbled themselves, he spoke to Shemaiah, saying, "Because they have humbled themselves, I will not destroy them. I will grant them a measure of deliverance, and my wrath will not be poured out on Jerusalem through Shishak. However, they will become subject to him, so that they may learn the difference between serving me and serving the kings of other lands." Then King Shishak of Egypt attacked Jerusalem and took away the treasures of the temple of the Lord and of the royal palace, carried off everything, including the gold shields that Solomon had made. To replace them, King Rehoboam made bronze shields and entrusted them to the officers who guarded the entrance to the royal palace. Whenever the king went to the Lord's temple, the guards would carry the shields, and afterward they would return them to the guardroom. Because Rehoboam humbled himself, the Lord's anger turned away from him, and he did not destroy him completely. There was still some good in the land of Judah. King Rehoboam grew strong in Jerusalem and continued to reign. He was 41 years old when he became king, and he ruled for 17 years in Jerusalem, the city that the Lord had chosen from among all the tribes of Israel, as the place where his name would be worshipped. Rehoboam's mother was Naamah, an Ammonite woman. Rehoboam did what was evil, for he did not set his heart on seeking the Lord. The rest of the events of Rehoboam's reign, from beginning to end, are written in the records of the prophet Shemaiah and of the prophet Iddo, according to the genealogies. Rehoboam died and was buried in the city of David, and his son Abijah succeeded him as king. Chapter 13. In the 18th year of King Jeroboam's reign over Israel, Abijah became king of Judah, and he ruled for 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Micaiah, daughter of Uriel from Gibeah. There was war between Abijah and Jeroboam. Abijah went into battle with an army of 400,000 brave soldiers, while Jeroboam prepared 800,000 strong warriors against him. Abijah stood on Mount Zemaraim in the hill country of Ephraim and shouted to Jeroboam and all Israel, "Listen to me. Don't you know that the Lord, the God of Israel, made a lasting covenant with David, giving his descendants the kingship over Israel forever? But Jeroboam, son of Nebat, a servant of Solomon, son of David, rebelled against his master. Then worthless and wicked men joined Jeroboam and defied Rehoboam, son of Solomon. Rehoboam was young and inexperienced and could not stand up to them. Now you think you can resist the kingdom of the Lord, which is in the hands of David's descendants? You have a great army in the golden calves that Jeroboam made for you to be your gods. You have driven out the priests of the Lord, the descendants of Aaron and the Levites, and have appointed your own priests, as the pagan nations do. Anyone who comes with a young bull and 7 rams can become a priest of false gods. But as for us, the Lord is our God, and we have not forsaken him. Our priests are descendants of Aaron, serving the Lord, and the Levites assist them. Every morning and evening they present burnt offerings and fragrant incense to the Lord. They arrange the consecrated bread on the pure table and light the golden lampstand every evening. We are keeping the charge of the Lord our God, but you have forsaken him. God is with us. He is our leader, and his priests are ready to sound the trumpets to call us to battle. People of Israel, do not fight against the Lord, the God of your ancestors, for you will not succeed." But Jeroboam had sent troops around to ambush Judah from behind, so that his army was both in front of and behind them. When the men of Judah turned and saw that they were being attacked from both sides, they cried out to the Lord. Then the priests sounded the trumpets, and the men of Judah raised a battle shout. At their shout, God struck down Jeroboam and all Israel before Abijah and Judah. The Israelites fled before Judah, and God gave Judah the victory. 500,000 of Israel's soldiers were killed that day, a tremendous slaughter. So the Israelites were defeated, and the people of Judah triumphed, because they trusted in the Lord, the God of their ancestors. Abijah pursued Jeroboam and captured the cities of Bethel, Jeshina, and Ephron, along with their surrounding villages. During Abijah's reign, Jeroboam never regained power. The Lord struck him down, and he died. Abijah became strong, married 14 wives, and had 22 sons and 16 daughters. The rest of the history of Abijah, his deeds, and his words is recorded in the writings of the prophet Iddo.